This video is going to showcase one of the most frustrating things that you'll see in World of Tanks, and of course we're taking a look at the RU-251 in two replays, the first one being the most disappointing, and really talking about some of the things that you guys should probably be thinking about when deciding to play El Haluf for starters, and also just in general when playing World of Tanks in something like a light tank or just as a supporting tank or something that is going to at least take advantage of what a light tank has to offer. But either way, this is of course the tier 9 German light tank, and I really do enjoy playing this tank along with all of the kind of tanks leading up to this one. I've yet to play the Rheinmetall Panzerwagen, but we did actually finally pick it up yesterday as of the recording of this video, as a result of playing a few games to take advantage of course, the string theory operation that we've got going on, and we did take advantage of it quite well, and so we've managed to pick up that vehicle as well as actually managing to spend the gold that we got from the kind of keycard opening that we did a while back on some free XP, and by free XP I mean 1 million free XP. So we did that, and of course now just playing the RU-251 and trying to get all of the tier 10s within the game. But instantly right off the bat you're seeing a typical matchup on El Haluf, and to be honest with you, the team haven't done necessarily the worst thing in the world, other than the heavy who's for some reason sat still in the spawn, which I genuinely have no idea why people do that, along with the medium tanks that also sat in spawn, and predominantly some of the tank destroyers as well. So yeah, there's still quite a few people in the game that are of course doing things that are kind of annoying and are definitely not optimal if you want to actually do something beneficial for your team, and also just in general get as much damage as you want. So yeah, it's definitely one of those things I was not particularly happy about. But one thing that you're seeing here is a brilliant position on El Haluf, whether you're in a medium or a light tank. Essentially you just go up the cliff and you can end up in this spot, which allows you to get vision onto where this icebreaker is, so the crossing point, as well as of course where you saw me take a pot shot at the enemy, who is usually a tank destroyer camping waiting for our team, for example, to push down. But that doesn't actually happen in this, and you can see us now farming up the icebreaker. It's almost feels bad because I love the icebreaker myself, and it's the worst thing in the world when someone that actually has a brain decides that they're just going to pen you every single time. So yeah, not so fun. But you can see me here just taking a few pot shots at where we knew people were before, not managing to get anything, but then another Iron Rain gets spotted. I'm trying to go for the tracking shot, unfortunately it goes just high of where we were aiming, ending up actually just damaging him, but it looks like we actually hit him there again and tracked him. Maybe he's still there, he isn't, and that is unfortunate. But we can go back to the original position, and oh, what do you know, there's another person there. But we are down to 18 rounds, and constantly firing them is not the best idea. Hint, hint, Eclipse, please stop firing all of those rounds. But either way, yeah, a decent result so far. So 3,200 damage in a light tank on a predominantly heavy tank map. There's some places you can go in your light tanks to spot the middle, but a lot of the time there's not actually that much damage to be had, and you get taken out quite quickly by all of the heavy tanks that are surrounding in these sorts of areas. Now we do punish a few heavy tanks within this game, but we're not going to do a whole lot against the Maushan and the TNH when they can definitely pen me every single time, and it's going to be kind of dodge to be able to pen them every single time in this thing, at least reliably, given the fact that, you know, they've got good strong turrets and armor, and they can do all sorts of different things to avoid taking some shells. But we've got 12 rounds left, and we do actually track someone there. I noticed that the tree was actually pushed down, so I was thinking someone's going to be there. Unfortunately, don't manage to get another shot. But one thing that you can see on El Haluf that's really good is of course this position here, which we've talked about as well, but it is kind of situational. But you can see us just ploughing a few rounds into the back of these bad boys over here, and this is a nice position for if the enemy team do push really hard and you can avoid getting any hits. Just be aware that artillery can hit you there, so you know how it be with artillery sometimes. But we're just trying to get a nice round into someone here before the game ends, and unfortunately no nice little shell there. But we have picked up 3,900 damage in a light tank. And it looks like we're going to lose. Like, come on. It's basically we've lost at this point. But we've done 3,900 damage, 500 assist. Yes, a lot of people always complain that, light tank's trying to do damage, etc. You should just go and spot. But considering it's El Haloof, there's not really that much opportunity to spot anyway. And I'd rather be the one actually farming damage than rely on people that just are never going to get the damage in the first place. So that's ultimately what we're doing in this game. And now it's time to just retreat all the way back to as far back as possible, because I want to actually survive this game and we finish off the Canonian Jagdpanzer there with a nice round. There is of course the enemy heavy tanks coming round. Could have really not fired that shell there, Eclipse. It would have been so much better if we didn't, but we are actually firing them. You see me trying to aim for the cupola here. We do actually hit it, which is lovely. The enemy Maushan here, now I'm knowing that there is actually only a couple of rounds left in the tank. I'm like, oh damn, that was actually a terrible idea to fire. So we're now waiting. I'm kind of thinking I want to make each of these rounds count, and so the Object 257 that's on the enemy team is there. We decide to go for the engine deck of the Maushan, which we do manage to pen, which is lovely. And there is of course still this Object 257 or something of that like. But yeah, 4,600 damage done. We literally have 3 rounds left, so there's no way we can win this on our own. And so, yeah, when you have to rely on teammates in World of Tanks, it usually doesn't go particularly very well. But 4,900, 500 assists. I mean, if you were going for marks of excellence, you'd probably be able to get some within the game. So, yeah, it's not particularly too bad in that regard. We try and almost end ourselves there, which is, yeah, not particularly the best idea in the world. But at this point, I'm just hoping maybe we'll get some assistance damage. I think about firing at the King Dragon, but at the end of the day, I actually decide, you know what, maybe, just maybe, the Iron Rain on our team could pull it out the bag. I don't know how. I mean, there's a full health Maushan pretty much, and of course a ton of people. You see me just accepting the fact that I'm never going to be able to win this. If I had a bit more hit points, maybe, just maybe, I'd be able to win it. And of course, if I had actual ammunition, we might be able to win it. I mean, it's unlikely 2 versus 6 in a light tank, but it is potentially possible. But yeah. It just sucks when this is the case. I hate running out of rounds in World of Tanks. It almost feels just a bit annoying. It'd be nice if Wargaming actually added somewhere where you could actually pick up some extra rounds in the game, because I always feel like it's a bit... It's like one of those things where you just don't want to end up with a low amount of rounds, because it's like, at the end of the day in real life, you just go and pick up some more rounds. And but there you go. I guess it's a feature of the game. You have to use what rounds you're given, and unfortunately we didn't use them 100% effectively, and so we don't have any more left in this game. But you can see me here just trying to spot anyone. I don't know, I might get some more assistance. I don't know what I'm thinking at this point, but we know I've got 2 HE rounds. The HE does not have the most pen on a light tank at tier 9, so you're not likely going to be able to pen much unless you get around the back of tanks. And so at this point I'm just kind of thinking, well, screw it, I've just got to go. So the Maushan's coming up the hill, not particularly a problem. The King Dragon here is not actually a bot, so he's actually turning both the hull and tracks. We actually pen the King Dragon here, and then you see me just do a quick little turn, avoid his shell, get behind him, put another one in, and there you go, 5,500 damage. I'm trying to ping that I'm out of ammo, but I can't actually find it, and when you're trying to dodge a load of tanks just to make it a nuisance for them, waste their gold rounds, if you know what I mean, firing at a tier 9 light tank. But there you go, don't manage to get it, and there it is, the end. I was really annoyed about the fact that we still lost in that game, but it is what it is, and at the end of the day, maybe I played it slightly wrong. Maybe I could have just played mid or something like that, maybe spotted for the team. I don't know, but at the end of the day, there wasn't that many people to spot anyway. Most of them were over on the kind of heavy tank corner, but either way, probably near enough the same amount of damage as the whole team combined in a light tank when on a predominantly heavy tank map is not bad at all. And I will take the marks of excellence percentage. We almost made ourselves on the scoreboard even on a loss. So yeah, not too bad at all. But yeah, really annoying. And you get these from time to time where you just kind of do everything okay and still end up losing. But let's jump into this other gameplay before we end up. So everyone always complains about light tanks driving badly, but this second gameplay is going to be me complaining at the rest of the team playing badly. And of course, you're going to see it in this replay, mainly down to, like in the first game, you just expect a little bit more from your teammates, or at least just some initiative for them to actually take and be able to do something within the game. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be the case within the battles that we're going to be showcasing. But you can see here we've got loads of gameplays that I could showcase of the RU251, and maybe we could drag them in later in the line into a video maybe about how you can play light tanks. I don't know. Of course, you guys can let me know in the comment section down below whether you think that would be worth my time actually doing, or whether you think it's not really any point in doing that. Let me know in the comments. But you can see here playing the bushes and the vines on, of course, kind of vineyards, and these can actually be really powerful areas to spot in, because of course it is acting as bushes, and when there's like tons and tons of bushes in between you and the opponents, then of course it makes your camo even better, and so it allows you to do things like shoot at an RU251 without even getting spotted when you're well within the actual view range of that tank. Now, first round that we really didn't want to take there is a really annoying one, but don't worry, we'll make up for it as we move throughout this game. Of course, I knew that was mainly going to be a case. I'm pretty sure it was like a VZ or something that was sat on top of the hill, which is just absolutely perfect, and super annoying to actually come up against, but you know, it's part of the game, and so we need to move on as if it's just as if it's happened, but without really thinking a whole lot about it. But yet again, get spotted. Kind of annoyed. It seems like it's the RU251 in the center who keeps getting away with actually getting spotted in the center, which I have absolutely no idea how he's not getting hit whatsoever, but I guess we'll have to take it into our own hands to actually get rid of him, and then we can kind of progress our own gameplay as we see fit. You can see me here just plowing rounds into him, hoping we can get that last shell into him here. He's trying to run away. We put a round in. Unfortunately, you can see me getting annoyed that I didn't manage to finish him off, because he does keep spotting us. We try another one. It misses, of course. And we're in this similar sort of position where we don't want to keep firing rounds. This, I believe, was before that last one, where I really forgot about the fact that these light tanks don't actually have that many rounds of ammunition, so you probably don't want to be spamming them willy-nilly, but a shot not taken is as bad as a shot. Well, a shot not fired is as bad as a shell missed, so it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. You can see me here annoyed that I didn't actually pen the T-54. It's like the back of him. So it just seems like one of those games which is super annoying. But either way, we actually hit the M60, which is lovely. And unfortunately for the M60, it's good night. It is just a case of farming simulator. We've caught his track. We keep pummeling him. We have a good reload which allows us to retrack opponents, and so that's where the RU251 can come in quite clutch, and how you can end up getting some nice assistance. Of course, talking about assistance, 1400 in this game. Now then, with the FV215B183, the T30, and of course another tank over there, which I'm not entirely sure is at this point in time, but with a VZ and also a T54 over to the right, it's a bit dodged to kind of YOLO shells, but unfortunately for us we can't actually hit the VZ very easily, and so it's a bit frustrating to say the least. But the T54 for some reason comes outside on, and we end up actually hitting him. We almost make a grave error there by driving off the cliff. Luckily we didn't actually take any damage, but not too bad so far. This is the kind of big early game kind of amount of damage that you'd really hope to be on, especially with the assistance damage that we've picked up as well. So it's about 4k combined. So that's a fairly good start to the game, and of course you can progress quite nicely as you move on. But unfortunately for us, we do have a T30 and a M48A2 pattern over on this side, and I think, you know what, before I run I'm going to try and get a shell, and of course we miss it because because accuracy. But I'm thinking, oh, it's actually nice to see some of your teammates taking the initiative for once, and they're actually come over to try and help you out, which I was actually shocked, like genuinely shocked about the fact that your teammates took some form of intelligent play and came over to support a light tank who's on his own against 2 tanks, which was very, very good. I'm really appreciative of that, so thank you very much. That same can't be said later on in the game, however, but that's a whole different story, and we'll get into that as something that's like super annoying, but there we go. Try and go for the shot on the VZ. There's just 2 real tanks that I want to get out of this game. There is, of course, this T-30, who could really be an annoying tank if he does manage to hit us. Unfortunately, our tank does get taken out, the FV4005, who could have really been a massive help in this game, but he did take the T-30 hit, which probably sucked. But it's not really his fault. There's just so many tanks around. But we do finish off this guy. VZ55 appears to actually be not a bad player. I believe he has 2 marks, and so I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll be able to just farm him up. It'd be good to get him out of the game. Of course, you can see the 2 marks on his barrel. I try and avoid the shell. Of course, we could have tried going around the other way, but he's not that bad of a player to actually let me do that. But now I'm thinking, you know what, I'm definitely going to make sure we hit this guy and get him out. Goodbye. A little salute to him. You can go back to the garage, my friend. And of course, a very nice, good result there. Give him a little knock to let him know you're here, and there we go, 5-4. I'm thinking, you know what, we're probably gonna win this game potentially if we play this right. So I mean, there's some, I guess there is something about maybe me playing bad as well, but we've somehow managed to hit the T95E6, which is just an unbelievable shell. You can see me here just trying to get some more damage. We actually do pen him, which is lovely, and pick up nearly 4,000 combined. Oh, 4,000 damage, 2,500 assistance. And now it's time to kind of avoid any shells. There's an E75 on the enemy team. There's also a tank destroyer and another heavy along with a medium. Now, we know that the E75's over here, and we try and get a shell into him, only damaging the tracks, which is annoying. The 2 medium tanks in our base are doing some really great work, doing absolutely nothing, but there you go. And so it's down to me to go and spot for this heavy tank, since he's kind of YOLO through the middle of the map, which is probably not the best play in the VKB when you don't have any view range and there's a Waffle Panzer IV on the enemy team. But if we can provide that view range, it kind of nullifies the fact that he's going through the middle of the map, so because he'll be able to spot everyone. We land a nice shell into the E75, who for some reason at this point in the game is on full health and been sat at the back. I can guarantee he's been in J8 doing absolutely nothing up until this point, and then comes in to be Mr. Broken Balls, and yeah, just be super annoying. So I was kind of frustrated about that. I mean, when I'm on 399 hit points, I can't take a E75 hit. It's just not possible. But we also need to be aware that there is a Waffle Panzer IV who's just YOLOing. I'm thinking, don't worry. He surely can't come round and not get punished, right? There's a medium tank on our team. Like, he's going to be able to do something, really? Like, surely the mediums are going to start punishing the Waffle Panzer IV. Now, I don't go over the hill because there is a E75, and we know that he's going to be a pain in the backside. So at this point, I do make a misplay, and I'm 100% going to hold up my hands, and I stop here. And I don't know why I stopped, because at this point in time, I'm going, yeah, I don't know why I stopped, and then of course I crashed straight away. So I was kind of infuriated with the fact that we did that. I was kind of hoping that the medium tanks would actually move to be able to support, since there is a Waffle out in the middle of the open that I was spotting, and apparently they just cannot hit him. But don't worry, it's only the top tier medium tank, the Chisel, that has fairly decent armor and could have been punishing this guy, but nah, decides he's still going to sit at the back and then bounce off the E75. Don't worry, because if we speed ahead to where the demise of the Chisel happens, he literally does absolutely nothing, doesn't pen anyone, and then tries to run away sideways onto both the Waffle Panzer IV and the E75, and then quickly gets taken out. The UDES 16 on our team, the tier 10 medium as well, that could have been really helpful, only manages to get 1 shell of damage, decides not to look at the Waffle Panzer IV really, and then decides to try and run away as well against both of the tanks that know exactly where he is spotted, etc. Tries going sideways onto them. Just a nightmare, and of course the close defeat sign here to just showcase that yes, it was a close defeat, and a big middle finger, because the 2 top tier mediums just didn't really do a whole lot. And yes, they might have done a decent amount of damage, but playing at the back and just making the last ditch decision making was awful, but we still, in that game, nearly managed to come on the podium as a loss again. So I was infuriating. These were fairly close to each other in terms of the amount of games that I'd played, and so I was just getting more and more annoyed as I decided to go through. But either way, I had some brilliant games in the Sparpanzer, but these two really shone out to the fact that sometimes, even if you do a very good game, yes, you can make mistakes. I agree that I probably made a couple of mistakes in both of those gameplays, but either way, you know, sometimes you do make a mistake, but a lot of the time you're just hoping that, you know, your team actually do something for once, and unfortunately, it just doesn't come out quite well. But there you go. It is what it is, and of course camping at the end in top tier mediums to get damage, even though it's not actually really true damage because you're literally sat at the back farming people that are moving through open fields. Yeah, super annoying. But either way, it is the Sparpanzer RU-251, and we have unlocked the Rheinmetall Panzerwagen, which I'm looking forward to jumping in and giving a go, as I feel like maybe it'll be slightly better than the RU, and pretty much in tier 10 games either way with this tier 9. So yeah, any advantages would be beneficial. But other than that, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. It wasn't too much of a ranty one, but it was definitely an enjoyable one to play in, the RU-251, and I highly recommend you go down the German light tanks, since all of them are so much fun. Even the Spick and stuff like that, yeah, really enjoyable. But other than that, I hope you did enjoy this video. Make sure to like and of course check out some of the other gameplays that we've got on the channel in the gameplays and tank reviews playlist on the screen right now, and I hope I'll see you there. Goodbye.